Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Kind of a Big Deal. This is my dear friend, Genevieve Levy, and so excited to have her here. Was just sharing how I get extra nervous when it's a dear friend of mine, and I don't know what that is, but it is weird. I feel like a giddy schoolgirl. Like, I'm so excited that you're here.
And you're trying a new format.
That's also true. Yes, I was just mentioning that when Shane and I were in conversation. This is a new experience.
Yes.
And it's actually really nice though, because I get to sit across from you, whereas typically, right, I'm looking at a camera. But it also makes me more nervous because now it's very intimate. Genevieve is one of the most incredible women that I've ever had the opportunity to know. She is so much fun while also being an incredible leader. She's an engaged mom. She is an engaged community member. She does everything all in. She is the kind of woman that you want on your team. She is a coach. She's Coach G.
Coach G.
In fact, I had to have some tears because my daughter has had Genevieve as her coach for multiple years, and we got the news. And we love our new coaches, but it was still a moment of like, no, don't take us away from our Coach G. And she's just the kind of person that you want to like hang out with and learn from. So thank you for being here. I think I'd like to start for you. This is why it's also so cool. Like, we've known each other for what, 10 years?
Yeah.
But we don't get to have these kind of conversations, right? Because life is kids and sports.
We will literally be at basketball later today.
That's exactly right. I will not be there.
Oh, I will be at basketball later today with your daughter.
My kid's not playing, so.
Ross.
She literally was like, "You're going to come, right?" I'm like, "No, no, I will not be doing that."
Well, Thursday our daughters play against each other. How's that?
There we go. Yes. So I would love to just start like way at the very beginning.
Sure.
Of baby Genevieve career steps. When you left school, what were your first, like, what were you being drawn to? What were you excited about? Take us all the way back.
It goes back even before, I think, leaving college. So I grew up always wanting to be a veterinarian.
Wait, I didn't know.
Always.
Are you serious?
I even applied to undergrad under animal biology focus.
Okay.
But my senior year of high school, I got more involved with student government and helping out our school's MECHA club, which was like the Mexican American Student Association, have events and kind of supporting that with school leadership to make sure that they could have their events and they would be a success, and kind of getting support from the school and other students. And anyways, that sort of just switched my brain a little bit, and I volunteered in a bilingual classroom for my senior project. And so I was like, forget animal biology, even though I still went to UC Davis under animal biology, but I switched my major that year to international relations with a Spanish minor. And I still didn't know what I wanted to do. And when I was graduating, I had applied and been accepted to a secondary ed teaching credential program. So I thought maybe I would teach Spanish or social studies or something. And then I had already been volunteering at Sacramento Food Bank and Family Services during my last quarter, and I learned about the AmeriCorps program. Mm-hmm. And so then I ended up basically graduating, being a volunteer, and then transitioning to an AmeriCorps member at Sacramento Food Bank and Family Services for a year, my first year out of college. So it was like full time.
You went straight in.
Right into I went straight into working.
Yeah.
You get more of a stipend during that time, and I was still living in Davis and commuting, but I started working as an AmeriCorps member full time at the food bank in, what was that, 2005?
Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh. That's
teaching ESL and helping adults study to get their GED, and helping adults in like community computer lab, getting email addresses and doing research, writing letters and stuff, kind of whatever folks needed walked in, and I would be like, sure.
You did work on all the things.
Yeah.
You taught all the things. So then how many years were you at the food bank?
17.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So I stayed, that year of AmeriCorps ended and turned into a paid position as the adult education program manager, and then on, many different roles. And I ended up leaving the food bank in 2001.
Okay.
So after COVID and after I had 2 children.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was many Genevieves.
Yes. You
Yes.
there.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
What, like when you think about also your through line of work in direct community work, nonprofit, government, which we'll touch on at some point, like Can you look back now and see a through line?
Yes.
Yes.
So, but this only hit me 2 weeks ago when I was doing a presentation.
Really?
Yes. And I was talking about the work I do now. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the grown up tech version of what I started trying to do in 2005 as a 22-year-old.
Okay.
So when I started at this location with the food bank, it was in North Sacramento. And I'm new to Sacramento, didn't even live in Sacramento yet. So didn't know Sacramento well, didn't know the areas and neighborhoods and social services, but I spoke Spanish. I was teaching the ESL classes. And my students would ask me where everything was. Where can I go do this stuff that we didn't do at our community center? Where can I do XYZ, this, that? And there was fear then in the community, just like there is now. There's fear always. And so I'd be like, oh, geez, I don't know. I want to go find that out for myself so I could give good referrals and also have the personal experience of like, well, you should go in and make sure that you ask for Claudia because she speaks Spanish and she works in the back and she'll come up to the front. Or, the entrance is kind of hard to find, but go around the left to the blue awning or whatever it was. So I'm oversimplifying, but over time started visiting other nonprofits and social services and making contacts. And I built a listserv over a few years. And then I started doing meetings where every month we would rotate facilities of a different agency that was now part of this group and this listserv. It was called the North Area Collaborative. It was just an email listserv. So any resources I got, I would send out to the group through, everyone would be BCC'd so they don't get all reply alls. And we would meet and tour each other's facilities. So we would know each other personally, the staff, and we would know the facility so we could help refer families and stuff better. And that alone, I still have professional relationships from that time. The folks that are still in Sacramento, they might be at different nonprofits. I have folks I know at different school districts that started where I remember I'd be with a family and they might have an issue at school or something. And I'd be like, yep. And I would know exactly who to call, pick up the phone and be able to help them and know the right contact person. So I kept that listserv well over my time at the food bank and grew it. And then I also oversaw a group when I was at the food bank called Network Cafe, which was funded by, I'm going to forget now what it was funded by. SMUD, sorry. SMUD funded it. Now, actually, I think there's a similar program at Sac State, but the food bank facilitated it for years. But we would do monthly convenings and meetings with lunch provided, trainings, and invite nonprofits for the same purpose, networking, et cetera, again, to know each other. And we just happened to be the host facilitator for that. So same thing, I just feel like I gathered contacts and contact information and kept really great relationships to help with resourcing and kept those over the years. And so in my role now, I oversee a project called the Sacramento Region Refugee Coalition. I work at a consultancy and we're funded to facilitate this project. The consultancy I work at is called Solvera, and the project's funded through the Sacramento Employment Training Agency. But anyways, any nonprofit, social service provider, community member, school, anyone can join this listserv where I basically curate what resources are being shared out or sourcing from basically across the state. And we do quarterly meetings with trainings and valuable updates that affect newcomer families that all of these people serve. And a lot of coordination of like, if there's an issue, like, okay, well, let's talk to the right person or get that right group of agencies to talk together and elevating issues. So like problem solving. And back in the past, we would have issues with other county agencies, or there was an issue at the DMV one time that we just kind of helped bring up from the community to then say, hey, this is a real problem. How can we solve and work on this? So I have a website now as part of the project. And that was what I was realizing was like, oh, I have a listserv,
Yes.
with contacts. My vetting of partners is the partners that are on the website. So it's like trusted partners that do the services. They have their own postings that they manage. And then we've just recently also developed a multilingual chatbot, which I was just like, this is so cool. So it answers community resource questions in Sacramento only, in 6 languages.
Wow.
And it's all vetted information.
That's incredible.
So we created its brain, and not just me, amazing, wonderful colleagues and amazing, wonderful native language testers as well. And just, it's really cool to think about that. Something I very simply was like knocking on the doors. I feel like now I'm like,
There's circle moment.
Yeah. And I
Yes.
only literally put it together 2 weeks ago.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, is it not surprising at all that Connector is in Genevieve's
yeah.
LinkedIn headline, which is true for both the work she does and the work she does, personally, and how she shows up as a human. Is there a connection, like when you think to your time at the food bank and the work with refugee resettlement that you're doing now? Like, what is that? Were there?
Oh, for sure. That's where it started. So when I was at Sacramento Food Bank, I had this amazing opportunity starting in 2014 to bring refugee resettlement and immigration legal services to the food bank, like addition of those programs. So a lot of research training and basically application process to be able to do those programs and services, but then was running those programs there with the team and was part of these networks of basically the other resettlement agencies in Sacramento. So really great partners at agencies like World Relief, IRC, Opening Doors, Lao Family Community Development, a lot of other agencies, and worked very, very closely with them. And that's the key agencies that I also work with right now in this role. Well, not all, but a lot of them for sure. So a lot of those same relationships and contacts that I made at the food bank during that time, I'm able to use now.
Yeah.
And this is like coincidentally, but not really. So there was an old version of the project I'm doing now that was unfunded that existed just called the Sacramento Refugee Forum. But I also created the listserv for that and helped coordinate the meetings during my time with refugee resettlement. But due to COVID, a lot of other staff change and departure, not just me, it fell inactive, that whole group. And so it was this county agency, the Sacramento Employment Training Agency, that said, we really need to bring this back because it helps bring agencies together, problem solve issues, share resources, and reached out to the consultancy where I work, Solvera. And that was literally the time where I was thinking of coming on. And they were like, we have a project you might be interested in.
That's awesome.
And I was like, I still have the login to the old listserv.
Like, look at this. I am interested.
Yes, I very much am. May we please use the old email address as well? Yeah.
Do you see any, have you met Tiffany Loeffler with the child or the Alliance? It's called the Alliance in Roseville. So it's similar in the sense of the approach is like, how do you bring agencies, nonprofits, et cetera, to come together more collaboratively to serve a purpose so that you're not in these silos.
Yeah.
Like this person's over here, this person's over here. Everyone has a similar goal. But she talked a little bit about how it was a little challenging in the beginning because there's a little bit of a like, maybe not a fighting for resources, but a sense of like, I'm not ready to collaborate with you yet because I don't trust you. Or
sure. Yes. Oh, for sure.
You have to navigate any of that.
Yes and no. I think very lucky to be part of such an amazing organization as Sacramento Food Bank and Family Services that it was always like I had that backbone of like we had secure funding in a lot of areas. There wasn't any competition.
Yeah.
And during this period of refugee resettlement, there were thousands of people coming to Sacramento. So all the agencies had their own caseloads. We're not like competing for clients. Anyway, everyone has their own. And then also I think we had a couple opportunities for these really awesome community events and our entire organization team would show up and help. And I think also having the consistency of like the same Genevieve for so many years, it was like they knew where I was and they could email and get a response, and having coordinated those meetings on that regular basis over and over, there was that. And I never felt in competition with anyone in that way with what we were doing, but it was really a gift and circumstantial. And so not just me, I mean, really like kudos to the organization entirely. And I feel like it went both ways. We were the new kids on the block in a lot of ways with resettlement, the smallest resettlement agency, but all the other bigger partners, Opening Doors, World Relief, IRC, helped train our staff. And that's just like, how cool is that? Like we were brand new starting and they got to go shadow and do home visits and different types of appointments with their staff. And that was just like in the spirit of collaboration and wanting to help each other.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially when you all know that you're working towards a common goal. So you also spent some time at United Way.
Yeah.
So what happened in between food bank to where you are now? Like, give us a little.
Oh, sure. So for some reason, I talk about this all the time. So when I left the food bank, I went straight to being the district director for the assembly, our local district 7. I think it might have been 6 and then changed to 7 for then Assembly Member McCarty, who's the mayor now. And that was awesome. Like, I thought that I was not the right person because I had never done politics, but I knew Sacramento very, very well.
Yeah.
I still have like a weird ability of zip codes.
Yeah.
When people talk about areas, I'll be like, oh, cool, 95815, nice. And so that was great. A ton of constituent work, events, supporting neighborhood associations, and getting to do a lot of cool events, less on the legislative side, but we were still involved with some of those things. And it was awesome. I honestly, the only reason that led me to leave that role was I had children that were 2 and 5 at the time. And my husband's job is demanding and time constrictive. And so it was hard to be as flexible, and I would say like some non-traditional hours with events and things that that being district director requires, with being the primary of all the things, the kids, the activities. And so, and was very open and honest about that, and have a great relationship and all the things. And then I had another amazing opportunity to be the chief program officer, turned into the chief program officer at United Way, California Capital Region. And
Before we go there. Because I want to hear about that.
Yeah.
But because you were talking about your deep, tentacles in Sacramento region, I shouldn't say this. We are in Sacramento right now.
Hi.
Hi, Sacramento friends. This was a big turning point for me 3 years ago when I realized, oh gosh, I've been here for over 10 years, but I don't feel connected to my backyard, right? And I made it then my mission to figure out, how do I integrate more fully? But seeing as you've kind of been a part of so many of these changes and the evolution, I feel like so much of the work I do is working with humans that are going through evolution, but I feel like we are living in a moment of watching a region go through an evolution.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, for you, as first, what are you most excited about as you look at what has already happened here locally? What do you see?
Oh, to Sacramento?
Yeah, just what are you most, when you think about the opportunity for the way folks continue to collaborate, or how we bring resources together, what do you see as an opportunity for Sacramento?
I might get to my answer as I talk out loud, because I don't have one right at but it'll come. I find Sacramento to be a big, small town and to be very relational, for better or for worse. And I'm like that, so it works for me. So long answer to say that I think I've also been able to do a lot of things that have helped me kind of meet folks in other sectors like Leadership Sacramento, which I'm sure you've thought of. But I think for right now, here's me getting to my answer. Having just read about the new MLS stadium and thinking about, recently took my daughters to the NWSL soccer women's championship game in the Bay Area, and literally watching their heads explode out of excitement for awesome, cool female athletes, and also being in very much Coach G women's sports mode a lot of my life. I think that I'm excited for things like that, like the women's NCAA finals, or March Madness is happening right now. I'm hoping the stadium would also bring some women's games, here. And I just think that having 2 daughters and having grown up playing sports, not realizing that I wasn't seeing all of these things and how much they're going to be able to see right in front of their eyes is just so cool.
Yes.
And we are trying to do things like that and activities. And I don't know, I just love, I ride my bike downtown.
Our eldest are 10, and they are part of this very sporty.
Totally sporty.
They're walking around in their jerseys all the time.
Yes.
It's my favorite thing ever.
Yes.
And I think you're right. To have those role models be there instead of feeling like it's so distant, or not even that you're even aware of it, because it's not something that you get to experience.
That's my home answer. That's my personal answer.
Okay.
I think that my professional brain thinks always more about the newcomer communities. And so I will say that I've always preached forever, since 2014, let's say, that Sacramento is a welcoming community. And I think that now more than ever, we need to be welcoming and accepting to neighbors of all backgrounds. And I think that as other places are perhaps less, Sacramento, one, will continue to be a magnet. It already is. This is kind of a fact. And so less of the mindset of what are we going to do? All these people are moving here, but more of they are moving here, and what great assets they are to our community, and just all of that potential that's there. I feel like a part of that, and I get to work with a lot of cool people that feel that same way. Like, yes, like,
Yeah.
look at this cool pool of people that are continuing to want to call Sacramento home. There's a lot of secondary migration. So folks originally move somewhere else and then choose to come to Sacramento. There's not a lot of numbers behind that. And I think it's great. And so I think it's more about hoping everyone else also thinks it's great.
I was gonna say, what do you think the like, maybe not danger, but like, what is the challenge that if we don't get that part right, that like we don't get to see that happen?
Well, then another community gets the economic benefit of having thriving
Right.
immigrant businesses and entrepreneurship. I think that housing is a challenge still,
Yeah.
and California is more expensive than other places, but it has a lot of other great things going for it.
Yeah.
And Sacramento somehow is that kind of middle road. I've been proud prior to a lot of these national policy changes. Like Sacramento was receiving the most newcomers of anywhere in the United States.
Is that right?
Some years, yes, some years, and always in the top.
I
And so
didn't
it's
know
just
that.
kind of like, yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
incredible. What do you like directly when you think about what families most need to feel safe, secure, like
Yeah.
as they're entering a whole new community? Because obviously there's administrative paperwork, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like to feel like they then get to become part of the fabric of the community.
Yeah. I would say a lot of folks move here because they know someone else that's here.
Got you.
So a lot of times they're not coming into
Like totally.
total, yes.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of agencies, service provider schools have done a great job, having staff, multilingual staff and forms and flyers and signs and whatever you need to kind of be able to work with that, whatever these new populations are. But I think it's also like the neighbors, like those stories where there's really great connections that can be made and kind of opportunities for learning about new cultures and just making friends where we've heard, and there are wonderful stories about folks that have gone out of their way to be volunteers. And there's great organizations in Sacramento that support that work to formally get connected with a family and help them with things. So just that ongoing. Yeah.
That'd be a good, I think, thing that we could link to after the conversation is if you have ideas of what some of those organizations are.
I do.
Well, yes, I
It's
know
on my
on your listserv.
It's on my project's website. Yes.
Because I imagine, for some folks that might listen, people do want to find ways to engage.
Yeah.
It can feel like it's a big,
Yes,
it's a big
yes.
thing, and it can feel a little unwieldy. So
Yeah.
to have an
Yeah.
expert in the room
Yes.
that can point you in the right direction.
And I was recently with a colleague doing a talk about philanthropy. And so we were talking about donating and things like that. And I was also preaching in this time of liking clicks and posting things you support and things.
Yes.
It's great to back that up with monetary donations and volunteer time.
Yes.
And so I was encouraging that to everyone. So there's lists of a lot of agencies that accept financial donations and volunteers as well. Yeah.
You touched a bit on, my brain is going in so many different
That's okay.
places because you have so many amazing things. I think I'll start with you in all of this any kind of like social impact work, or if you're in, a lot of nonprofit work or the work that you carry forward, it can feel emotional. It can feel challenging, right? Like these are not like typical 9 to 5 jobs because there's always something more to do or to think about or to take home. How have you kind of like protected your own peace with that? Or have you found ways of thinking about how to have maybe boundaries? I always am careful with the language because some people don't like the word boundary, but have you found over the years ways to make sure that you carve out enough space for yourself to like stay whole?
Well, yes. And I think that the pure fact that I'm doing other non-paid work things, if that makes sense, like all the other volunteering and the coaching and doing stuff at the kids' school forces that. Not that it needs to be forced, but I just feel like I would say honestly, just the last 2 years have I been able to sort of look at the week or the day or whatever, and the priorities are all the family things first. and work is towards the end. Work
Yeah.
is towards the end. And it's a very privileged position to be in, to be able to do it that way. But it for sure makes me feel more whole and sane. And I was just sharing with colleagues today that I was like, it's hard for me to map out my work hours for you because it all blends with all the things I need to do. Like they're all in my brain as a to-do list.
Yes.
And just fit in different areas and things. And chances are I'm probably working on multiple things
Yes.
at a time.
I think that happens when you do work that you care deeply
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
right? Like there is this not like
Yes.
separation of work life
Sure.
and personal life.
Yeah.
It's all,
Yes,
yes, to your
yes,
point.
for sure, for sure.
With that, I think, it's so beautiful to hear you talk about the season that you're in and having this opportunity to be so present, be Coach G, right? One of my friends who I've interviewed before, she calls it the work worth doing because it's still this thing that you're building and these, all of these things that you care about. And you might not be getting paid for it,
Right.
but like it is still a beautiful part of the narrative. Sometimes I'll ask women, like, what's something from your past that's shaped who you are as a leader today that wouldn't wind up in your bio or resume? And I'm going to ask it open-ended.
Okay.
Because then I have a second follow-up.
Okay.
Because in my head, I have something that I'm curious about specifically, but I want to hear
Well, ask me again.
what's something from your past
Yeah.
that shapes who you are as a leader today that would not end up in your bio or resume. So something that you wouldn't like list out as this is Genevieve Levy from a career perspective.
Something I did or
Could be
something that...
anything that shaped you. Like I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I grew up with a brother with special needs. And I now know that by being in some level of a caretaking role throughout my childhood, right? Like I know that now has shaped who
Sure.
I show up as a leader today.
Sure.
So yeah, that's an example.
Well, I'm going to get emotional with my answer for you. I love my parents. That's like a whole other topic. My parents are just incredible, amazing people. And the way that they talk about people, humans, my entire life has shaped who I am, I feel. And like very specifically in the part of town that I grew up in Sonoma, which is wine country, agricultural, there is a gentleman on the side of this one intersection every single morning waiting to get picked up for work. And every morning we pass them. And it's very small, but just to think that the way that my parents described and mentioned those men, as I'm sure as a small child, I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And it was always like very honorable. They're waiting for work. They're doing such amazing work. Look how hard they're working. Like those little things.
Yeah.
And then my town basically in Sonoma still is like very white and very Spanish speaking.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. And so, and growing up in California, I really felt like it was my job, like, well, half the people speak Spanish. I'm from here. I should speak Spanish too. So really made that a part of my job. And even as a kid was like, I'm like, do it Spanish 4 and like working hard and wanted to talk to my best friend's mom and just really trying to do those things. And then I think a lot of that stuff, like I mentioned, that experience in high school kind of changed some of that view for me. And then college. So it's not like necessarily one thing.
But it's another through line in your life.
Yeah.
It's interesting when we used to have that benefit of hindsight to go like,
Sure.
those seeds were planted
Sure. Oh,
in
absolutely.
your family
Yeah.
life. And then you get to see it kind of like grow over
I
time.
had another like weird realization one time in the late teens of the 2000s. So when I was in resettlement, it was 2014 to 2021. We worked with tons of Afghan families. So that was the majority of the population coming here. Afghan special immigrant visa holders. And I became very used to the names and was kind of like, yeah. And then I could recognize names and be like, oh, they're probably from Afghanistan and stuff. And then I was like, wait a minute. And was having these flashbacks and then started asking my parents about some little friends that I remember playing with when I was very little, 3, 4, 5 years old, and their names, then I knew, I was like, they were Afghan. And my parents were like, oh yeah, we helped sponsor them when they came to the US with another group of friends.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what?
I didn't know any of this about, I mean, I
When they fled the Soviet occupation in the 80s.
wow.
I was like, what?
That's amazing.
And I didn't know that until I was.
It's in your blood.
Yeah, I guess.
It's
Sure,
literally in your
sure.
blood.
Yes. And my mom was a teacher and loves kids. So
Yeah.
that's also a through line.
I
Yeah.
could absolutely, like you, when you were talking earlier about toying with like, do you become a teacher? Like that is,
Yeah.
it also feels like so
Yeah.
apparent in how you
Yeah.
show up in the world. That's so beautiful. And now I'm gonna like go hug your parents when I see them. I love that.
Yes, for
You know,
sure.
I love that. But, like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
It's wild when you think about good, bad, and different. When we actually take a moment to reflect and think, like, why
Yeah.
are we who we are?
Right.
Because I don't think we get an opportunity to do that very often. I was curious with how I've heard from a lot of women their sports journeys, like what sports meant to them then, and how. I mean, obviously you're a coach, right? But
Yeah.
what did sports do for you? Do you think as a kid that also maybe like put you on a certain
For sure. I mean, all the statistics and things that I read now, I'm like, that tracks.
Yeah.
Like, just so much overcoming of the hard stuff, all that resilience of like
Yeah.
all those terrible losses and then get up and go the next day. But also the preparedness part. Like, I remember in high school laying out my clothes, outfits for every practice day and making sure I had laundry. And like for basketball, sometimes we had double days and making sure that you were there 30 minutes early with your shoes on, ready to go. So practice was at 8, but that meant 7:30. And weightlifting before school, like
Yeah.
at 7 a.m. And so just a lot of the like routine and sort of and the discipline, for sure, the discipline, I have been able to go back into that mode so many times. Like when it's busy, I can also click into, in a way, the more structure helps me accomplish all of the busyness.
Yeah.
And energy output, I guess sometimes too, is like, well, I've done that. I can do this again. Kind of
Yes.
that, like both mental and physical muscle memory. But there's stories of, the sports moments, funny and hard, but things I always remember, like coaches said to me is I was never the all-star best player, but I was like the workhorse kind of a person.
Yeah.
So I was like there on time, working really hard. And, in high school, it would be like, you're not going to be a starter, this basketball. You're not going to be a starter, but you're going to make our starters better. And that's like, I get that now,
Yeah.
but that's like sucks when you're 17. You're like, yeah.
I want to make somebody else that.
Cool. But still working hard kind of through all of that.
Yeah.
And then really found my love with rugby.
Yeah.
And did that the last 2 years of high school and then in college as a D1 player. So
This is so
just
interesting.
letting you know.
I will tell you that I don't know what that means.
Oh, Division 1. Like Davis wasn't a D1 school, but our club rugby team was in a D1 league, and we went to the national championships one
cool.
year. Yeah,
That's amazing.
it was cool. But yeah, and that was kind of like a culmination of using all the right parts of me
Yeah.
for that sport.
It's so
Yeah.
funny when you were talking about the like being prepared. Our daughters are also doing basketball together right now. And they like a couple of them trade off because there's too many kids that wanted to do it, which is amazing.
I know.
In the
It's so
first
great.
place. So Maddie's not playing today, but she came to me this morning and said, "Mommy, I'm going to wear my jersey anyways. I'm going to get dressed." And I was like, "I love that." And I'm like,
Yes.
"You want to support your team?" She's like, "I want to be ready in case there's an issue. Like
For sure.
if somebody like for whatever reason can't
Yes.
play, like I'll be ready to go." And I was like,
Yes. Yeah. I love that.
"Huh?
I love that.
Who are you?"
Yes.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing already just after the years that she's been in sports. You can already see it happening,
Yeah.
and it's incredible.
Yeah.
Blows my mind all the time. So when you think about Veronica and Eliana, and you think about what they're growing up and what they're growing into, what would be your biggest hope for them as they're kind of navigating the next season of their childhood?
Athletically? No. No, I know. That was what I was first thinking about. Sorry.
Start there.
So sorry. Well, of childhood.
Yeah. Like I was thinking about this, I think specifically 10 and 7 feel like a really interesting moment. Like 10, you're on the precipice of you're almost junior high. It felt to me like 4th grade was like this
Sure.
like shift
Yes,
to like
yes.
you're a big kid now.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
having deeper conversations. I have to show up as your parent differently now
Yeah.
than I did
Yeah.
even a year ago.
Yeah.
7, you're also like, you're no longer a kindergartner. You're learning to read. Like, there's more and more responsibility that they're taking on. So I just have been so interested in this moment with them to go like, what do I hope for you as you navigate this next little like moment in your life?
Some of it is like wanting them to enjoy it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They are, but like, you know, that cliche of like, you don't know how good you have it kind of a thing. But honestly, I think it needs to come with some more downtime and some more rest.
Yeah.
Um,
Ask Genevieve about that.
yeah, I know. I'm not a good example, everybody. I think that they're both so different. This is a different answer. I think I want different things for them.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I think that Veronica works really, really, really hard at everything. And there's part of me that wants her to like know that it's okay to ease up sometimes.
Give herself a break.
And she doesn't know that.
Yeah.
And I mean like school and sports. She's the hardest on herself. She's super perfectionist on herself. And I think that Eliana doesn't, she's kind of young enough in the sense of like there isn't that self-awareness at all, but she has no self-doubt whatsoever.
Just like, I got this.
Yeah. So, just to keep having fun. Love their relationship, you know, and siblings bicker and stuff like that, but they really do love and enjoy being together.
They've got each other's back.
Totally.
Big time.
And it's nice. Like we're going on a trip soon and it'll just be the 4 of us. And the thing I'm looking forward to the most is just like being together, but them also having this time not together. Cause right now weeknights are like, zing, who's going here? Who's going there?
Totally.
At different activities all the time. But I try to tell them because they're, you know, they excel in different areas and all the things, but scholastically and otherwise, but just, I want to say, I see how hard you're working. You're doing a great job. Like Eliana with reading, at the beginning of the year, it's like struggle bus to get through 20 minutes, you know, so hard. And now it's like, I can really see her reading has improved. And I've been trying to make an effort to be like, you are doing a
Like,
good
notice
job.
it for yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
When you think about like early career days to now, I used to ask this as, how has your idea of success evolved over the years? But now I ask it as, has it evolved? Because I think I don't want to make any assumptions.
Yeah.
But I assume, you know, from our wild and free, crazy young people days, the way I thought of what success might look or feel like has changed pretty dramatically. So curious about that for you.
I think that I have never been, much to Rob's chagrin, just kidding. Like
Rob is her husband.
Like attached to like salary. And having worked in nonprofits most of my career, that's great.
Yeah.
To have that mindset.
Yes.
So I don't ever compare that.
Yeah.
I think that title was and like a little bit status and a little bit like I always have supervised teams and I like that. Not for the control or the status of it. I think it goes along with liking coaching. But right now I am working in this role part-time in what I make it. And that is still a struggle for me to like say that out loud because it feels like I want to put the word just in front of it. I'm just working part-time right now. Mm-hmm. And almost to qualify as an excuse why I am able to do some of these other things.
You mean be more present with
to volunteer at school and to coach and other stuff too. Where I'm like, well, it's okay. I just work part-time. Mm-hmm. And so I've been really trying to not even say that I work part-time because I don't know why I need to.
I was gonna say
nobody cares. And also like all of the things is way more than full-time.
Yes.
And so yes, I think for me that's still a struggle. And so I'm more thinking about success, trying to think about success in terms of just like like everyone's success in terms of our household. I feel that it is my job to make sure that they are like well nourished and dressed and prepared for their, you know, respective sports or school and things like that. And success is like are they prepared? Do they feel ready? Am I supporting them emotionally and physically in all these ways? So I think that like I'm not thinking of like the success right now in terms of my title, my salary, and all of these things. And honestly, 2 weeks ago when I realized that through line for my career, I like have felt way better the last
amazing.
2 weeks.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Has this season of like taking a little tiny bit of a step back? I mean, when I was saying all in, like you're 40 under 40, like all the things. Like,
Yeah, it was a lot of those things.
Like very involved. And I'm curious if you've uncovered anything about your own self in taking a tiny, and it's not even I don't want to say step, it's not a step back. It's just taking a moment to rethink the way you want your life to look for this time.
Yeah.
So just wondering if there's anything interesting that's come up for you.
Other than just like, I think feeling better in it recently, probably this year, this calendar year, and probably recommitting to it, and probably getting into this softball season, which is the most intense, as sort of a big reminder of like, I do want to be doing this.
Yes.
And the only reason I can do this and this is because of
Other
this.
choice.
Yeah.
Right.
And kind of like, I like being me and 100% me in all of these places. And I like to show up as me in all of those places at the same 100%. And I can't unless there is that balance. And like, everything's been kind of meshing the last bit.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's always, there's an interesting transition time for anybody that has a different, like an evolution into a different season, right?
Yeah.
I remember when Bitwise collapsed, it was like, whoa, like what am I even doing here? And like, who am I? And a lot of the trying to understand myself from how much of my self-worth is tethered to something that was so external.
Yeah.
Right. And it's tricky because it's also part of our identity for so long.
Yes.
It's not like it happens overnight.
Right.
So I love that you've given it the room it needs to breathe, to like fully be in, right? Like to like be settled in that moment. Because sometimes folks are like, this is uncomfortable. I'm not doing this.
Right. And I don't know how intentional I've been about this settling. It's been just like by the pure passage of time.
But you continued to make a choice. And
Yeah.
to stay committed to a choice. And I think that in that commitment, you get to see it land somewhere. Like you have been so intentional. And I think that maybe you weren't consciously choosing that, or like to see it settle.
Yeah.
But it happened by virtue of you being committed to that decision, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. Last question.
Okay.
That I ask everyone, because all of this to me is like you're building in real time towards a legacy, and not legacy in the like, you're bequeathing, like, whatever pot of gold
Sure.
to the next generation. I think of it more as this light, exciting thing that we get to think about intentionally every day. So, Genevieve, what does building a legacy mean to you?
Oh, I should have paid attention and known that this was coming, right?
No.
Oh, man.
It can be, I mean, I always give people a minute here. And it's not to say that this is the choice and now that's the choice forever. It's like for the moment that you're in, right? Like what is legacy now for you? You've already touched on a little bit about the way you want to see your kids,
Yeah. It's hard for me to not take legacy to think of like after I die.
I know.
But the legacy in the now?
Well, it's more like, it is, I guess, legacy in the sense of what are we leaving behind? But what are we doing today to build towards that? What is the thing that we care most about as we leave this earth? Like, what that we will have left in our wake?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, first and foremost, I think having kids is like crazy and totally changes what you think about everything.
Yes.
And time going so fast, I think also led me to then really want to dive into all the things. And sometimes it feels like a lot. And for sure, it's like, oh my gosh, why are you doing all the things? And I'm like, well, because some of these things only exist right now.
This moment. Yeah.
And they're fun for me also. And so as long as I can be there and I'm not annoying anyone, then here I be. Like, that I don't know. That's a hard one. I think I've always thought of my work in service as such, back to like when I was first, let's say, at the food bank and I was in the computer lab. Well, I'll help anyone with something that I can do. And I just think that the world is a better place when we all like bring your talents into it. And so I think that's a reason why it's very easy for me to volunteer in these other capacities at school and sports, because I have done a lot of those same processes in a professional capacity. So I feel like, well, I can help with these things, so I should. And this feels like a time of like, if you can, maybe you should. And I don't like to use the word should, but things are rough. And so I think that bringing more good and giving those little parts of you that you can to other things is a way forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I can, I will. And I will bring my full self into it.
I was going to say,
There's not a lot, like I one time said to a staff member, don't repeat this to anyone except on the video. No. I said, I don't care what percent you are at home. I need you to be 100% here. And it was, they're working with kids.
Yeah.
And I mean that. I mean, that's kind of hard and fair if someone didn't feel well, but I did mean that. And so it's like,
because you
bring
show
your
up-
all.
You show up with 100%
Yeah.
into every space that you're in. And I think that is part of, you're getting to what you're sharing, which is literally that's inherently who you are. And we get the beautiful benefit and gift of receiving that from you. And not everybody walks through the world like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I can see it.
Yeah.
And that's why I love you.
Thanks.
So this has been so fun.
Yes.
And I always love to hear these little nuggets that I didn't know or
Yeah.
maybe knew, but like in a different lens. And Genevieve is a huge good sport by sitting with me in this new space.
Yes.
And so I just appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes. Bye.